All right, so this is a continuation. It did cut off on me as I was reading Isaiah, the 14th chapter. And so I was speaking on his, complete fall. Okay. And I went to chat. I just asked chat a question, simple question. People are mad with PlayStation because of them getting rid of hard copies. Are most corporations going digital? And of course, the obvious answer is yes, because all these corporations are going digital because of this new world order, the fourth industrial revolution. They want to get rid of you know the masses, or yeah, the masses of the people being able to have ownership, right? This is about this is about perpetually, um, or I should say, this is about having you perpetual dependent, you know, on them, on the system. Okay, they want you to worship them as God. You know, just like we have to go to God for everything. We got to go to, in prayer, and we cry and beg unto the Lord. They want that, in this world, they want that. They want people to come to them constantly and perpetually. All right. So this thing is diabolical, but that's the setup. And and soon he's of course he's going to be overthrown. But these are the things that are supposed to be preparing ourselves for. You know, and the scriptures say that we were going to seek. We were going to seek our Lord. So let me get that Isaiah. I'm gonna just cue it up, and then I'm gonna finish reading chat. So chat here it says, yes, across many industries, corporations are shifting from physical products to digital delivery. The trend extends well beyond gaming. And not just use gaming as a an example because it's just recent, and people are in an uproar. The whole gaming community is in an uproar about it. You know, them not having any hard copies, it takes the power out of their hands. And it goes into all the although the pace varies by industry. Okay, it's just in the case of Sony Interactive Entertainment and the PlayStation ecosystem, many players are frustrated because digital games cannot be resold, traded, or loaned to friends. Right, because they want to be able to control and centralize the economy by way of this digital the beast system. Okay, that's the image of the beast. All right, being able to centralize everything where you have to go through their channels of or you have to go through them. All right, and that's what Revelations 13:15 on down, that's what it's describing. Okay, John the Revelator seen those things. He's seen it in a vision, and now we have a more sure word of prophecy because we can see it manifesting uh in our very reality. All right. So companies have more control over pricing and sales, and people are pissed because it costs more to buy something online than to go to the store and to buy a hard copy of it. You see, and a lot of times, you know, uh, uh, a lot of times, you'll find something, cheap, but the whole point of this is to have control, utter control, absolute control, to where you'll have to just accept their pricing. You see, and that right there, of course, that's a crime all in itself. You know, what Esau is doing, man, is diabolical, but it's set up that way. And if you've been, if you're in the spirit, if you know what's going on in the world, right, you ain't gonna be mad. You can't be mad. All right, it's really a loss for them because this world is fading. And as we, the way it has been ran is fading because they want to bring you into this, this transhumanist, you know, this new world order. Okay, and it's better as right, plug. Okay, so I'm getting very low battery. All right, you might want to, how you say, forsake this world, man. You know. Here, let me see something. I'll be right back. Okay, so Isaiah 10 and 20, because you are going to have a remnant that will be able to escape this world, before this change comes, or this reset, you know, where you're gonna have to give up absolute freedom to live in a world where you're completely constrained. You have to go to Esau for everything, for the want of all things, you know. So Isaiah 10 and 20, it says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them." Right? It's Esau and his Western civilization and the system that essentially rules the world now. We're not going to, stay or lean or trust in, you know, Esau anymore. Right? But it says, "But shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushua, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty God." All right. So there will be a small portion of Israelites who escape, this beast system and overcome it. Because this is all leading to what the hour of temptation, Jacob's trouble, essentially, you know. And the Lord has, been preparing us, okay? Because this man is not stopping at anything to, reach the level you know, that he wants to reach, okay? So, okay, I think I read this. Yeah, I think I read this. Don't really need that. I just wanted to, cover the different industries where they're going digital. But even, different industries like agriculture, they want to stop people from collecting rainwater, you know, and growing your own food. They want to send you lab, raised food, you know. So it's diabolical at every turn, you know. So we're gonna need the Lord, man, you know. And yeah, it's no joke. It's no joke. Let's see here, Psalms 37. Right. Yeah, well, yeah, this will fit. Psalms 37 and 12, it says, the wicked plotted against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. All right. And overall, when you look at what's really taking place is, they're making war against the poor. They're setting things in order to where the poor, they don't have nowhere to turn. But we do, we do. It says the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. So that's what's happening. His day is coming. Okay. And he's going to do everything he needs to do to allocate power, only so that the Lord can bring him into judgment, you know. Um, and for sure, the you know the Lord is going to bring about this, or by way of Esau, is going to bring about this new world order because it's prophecy. Okay. And we're not going to be able to see the good to come unless this evil, you know be taken out of the way. So it has to be established. He has to fill his belly, you know, in order for the Lord to cast him down. So the Lord shall laugh at him, for he said that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, all right, and have bent their bow. And what's their new sword is their this beast system. And it says those that wouldn't worship the image of the beast shall both be killed. So if you're speaking against how their establishment is going to be ran, you can be cut off. As it says here, Revelations 13:15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right? And that's essentially being cut off. You can be cut off in any way. All right. Because what you're going to have to adhere or, to whatever regulations that it brings, which, we already know it's going to be a digital ID. Then it's going to be, you're going to have to take this chip to access these resources. That's where this thing is headed. We're thinking in the long run. We have to think long term. Which really shortly they're going to be able to implement. Give life unto the image. So the Greek word for worship.
Strong's G 4352. Proskuneo. Proskuneo.
Proskuneo. To kiss the hand towards one in token of reverence. So at some point you're going to have to reverence this man. All right. You're going to have to reverence the system to access it. Okay. See here. Kneeling and prostrate to do homage to one or make obeisance. And the way you're going to make obeisance is by what? Taking what they prescribe. All right. Obeisance, act or fact of obeying, submissiveness. So you're going to have to obey this man at some point, because he's going to make it hard for people to exist, for people to sustain themselves. You're not going to be able to sustain yourself outside of the system. And that's what this is all about. It's about having you, in control, him controlling your soul, right? And this is the word killed.
Strong's G 615. Apoctino. Apoctino.
Those that wouldn't worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? And it says here to kill in any way, whatever, right? So they can cut you off, to destroy, to allow to perish. So they can allow you to perish. And that's what's going to happen. If you don't obey, okay, if you don't reverence this man, if you don't submit, he can cut you off in any way. Right? That's what this is all leading to. That's what this is all leading to. Okay? And so what we're supposed to avoid, a wise, what it says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. Now, how do we hide ourselves? The name of the Lord, leaning and trusting on the Lord. All right. Back in Psalms 37 and 14, the wicked have drawn out the sword. Right? This whole beast system is a sword. And have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Right? Because anyone that's speaking against the evils and the transgressings of this whole philosophy or plan that they're putting into motion, they're going to do what we just read. They're going to cut you off in any way, shape, or form. All right? Verse 15, their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. A little that a righteous man hath is better than the riches of many wicked. See? So the little that we have is true, right? Or even, which the truth ain't small, but even the things that we have is greater than what they have, because they're wicked, for the arms of the wicked shall be broken. That's right. But the Lord Yahweh upholdeth the righteous. The Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. Okay? They shall not be ashamed in the evil time. Right. We're not going to be ashamed. We're not going to feel no type of way. In fact, we're going to embrace what's coming. And in the days of famine, they shall be satisfied. That's a promise. It says it in Isaiah 2. That my servants shall eat. Okay? But the wicked shall perish, because their whole thing is to make sure you can't eat without them, without you having to obey them. That's what this is all about. Okay? So, but the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord Yahweh shall be as the fat of the lambs. You're going to be burned. They shall consume into smoke, and shall be and slack it. Into smoke shall they consume away. All right. So I think I wanted the one where it says they spread themselves as a green bay tree. All right. And I'm gonna close in a second. Yeah, it was. I was there. Psalms 37 and 35. I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. He passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I saw him, but he could not be found. And that's what's about to happen. Because as Esau is, making it to where you don't have any more freedoms and completing his enterprise, his new world order system, that's when the Lord is going to spring his trap against him. All right, so he has to do these things. Okay. And if you don't see that all of these different things that they're doing in the world is leading you to the beast system, then you're blinded and you're going to be taken by what's coming. That's why the scripture said, a prudent man foreseeth the evil. And hideth himself. Let's see here. It's Proverbs 22 and 3. It says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. There you go. And a man that foreseeth the evil is going to prepare himself, and he's going to hide himself by what? Trusting in the Lord. Those that call upon and the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Those that run into it are safe. Roughly paraphrasing. So we're gonna call upon that name and lean upon the Lord and do the works that bring forth fruit. All right. And the Lord's gonna save us. And those that pass on, meaning in other words, they're not mindful of what's going on, or they continue to move in a certain way, they're gonna be punished. Okay. And it's right now is the time to forsake this place. Here I'm thinking 2nd Ezra 14 and 14. Oops. 14 and 14, it says, let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. That's right. The nature where you have to fulfill, your lusts, fulfill the lust of your flesh and, comfort and all of those things. It's like, the elders have been saying, it's going to get very uncomfortable. And this is part of it. What Esau is doing is he's making it uncomfortable. And because the Lord's going to fulfill his word, he's going to fulfill prophecy. And that's how we look at this, what's coming. It's right. It says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times, right? For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. Right. Yeah, people are mad now. People are pissed off now. Well, wait till you see what else they're going to be doing. People are going to be extremely mad and miserable. and that's why it's important to forsake it now, to cut off this world now. So, Lord willing, this was edifying. Until next time, I say shalom.